Here's Bart Simpson from nearly 40 years ago.
Dad?
Yeah?
What is the mind? Is it just a system of impulses?
And here's Bart Simpson in 2025.
Wachloff, is he hurt? That means I got an edge. I gotta lay down a bet now.
You're gambling!
Bartholomew JoJo Simpson has been around for a very long time, and it's only natural that he's gone through a few changes over the years. Well, today, I'll be combing through all the seasons of The Simpsons to plot out Bart's evolution from start to finish to see just how much he's changed, starting way back in 1989 with Season 1. To get a full grasp on who Bart is and how he's changed over time, I think it's fair if we just take a look at him back in the day, starting with the very first episode of the show, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, where he's in the middle of a school choir singing, well, his own version of Jingle Bells.
Isn't Bart sweet, Homer? He sings like an angel.
Oh, jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile broke its wheel, the Joker got a
So right away, we see him as some rebellious kid who likes to be naughty. But it's the second episode of the series where his personality really shines. We see him getting into some serious trouble with Principal Skinner.
Although EI is an acceptable ethnic variant.
Good point. Boys, let's see your hands. Good. Okay. Simpson.
It's also the birthplace of one of his most famous catchphrases.
Simple-minded grudge against me. I was merely trying to fend off the desecration of the school building. Eat my shorts.
So within the first two episodes, we know that Bart is naughty, he has a real anti-authority edge to him, he's not a big fan of school, and he has a real rivalry with Skinner here. Also, just to touch on the animation a little bit here, I know this is every character's problem in the early episodes, but he's quite rough around the edges. He has an elastic mouth and his face is all weirdly out of proportion. I mean, how big do those eyes really need to be?
At 7:30 a.m., an express train traveling 60 miles an hour leaves Santa Fe bound for Phoenix, 520 miles away.
Shh! Visualize it, Bart.
Just because he's a bit of a rascal doesn't mean he's super popular in school, though. Even Bart is on the receiving end of some bullying throughout the show, and that starts in the first season as well, especially after he makes Nelson bleed in front of the whole third and fourth grades.
Nelson, it was all a mistake. This is how it happened, man. Listen up. You may get a kick out of it. My sister was baking cupcakes this morning and...
you at the flagpole at 3:15.
And you better be prompt. He has 4 other meetings scheduled this afternoon.
To be fair to Bart, though, he takes his beating like a champ. Nelson's not happy with getting even. He wants to make Bart's life a living hell and promises to get him over and over again until the end of time. And this is where we see Bart in some full-scale panic to the point he actually opens up to his dad. So clearly he's gotta be desperate.
Dad, I need help. Please.
Oh, come on, Bart. We don't want your mother to see you crying.
Oh, man.
Here.
Marge overhears Homer and Bart talking about the bully and bursts into the room. She wants Bart to go and tell someone, whereas Homer swears by the old reliable rules of the playground.
And violate the code of the schoolyard? I'd rather Bart die.
What on earth are you talking about, Homer?
The code of the schoolyard, Marge. The rules that teach a boy to be a man.
I guess here you get a good feel of how Bart views his mom and dad. His mom is soft, caring, kind, whereas his dad is harsh, cold, stupid. He's clearly closer with Marge emotionally, but outwardly, he tries to mirror his dad. Or what his dad wants, anyway. This episode also showcases something else that's important to the character of Bart. His leadership. He just deals with bullying until he can take it no longer and rallies the troops, the other bullied kids at Springfield Elementary, to wage a war against the bullies.
You in what army?
This one.
Artillery, commence saturation bombing!
He wins, defeats Nelson, and they end up signing a peace treaty. Then the last thing I wanted to touch on this season is that despite him failing everything and being perceived as stupid, Bart's got a wicked intelligence that is 100% not book smart. But he is smart. I mean, at 10 years old, he managed to solve a crime that no one else in Springfield could. He realized that Krusty the Clown had been framed for burglary.
Shoes to fill, big 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 shoes to fill. In ancient Greece, there was a school of thought called Stoicism.
Wait a minute! You did it!
Excuse me?
That's also where his big feud with Sideshow Bob started, as Bob ends up going to jail thanks to Bart. And yeah, we'll be coming back to this a bit later. So, by the end of Season 1, I think the full foundation of Bart has been set. Like I said, we know that Bart is a rebel, he hates authority, he has a distant but loving relationship with his family, he's not the stupid kid that people think he is, and he's a natural-born leader. So let's shift over to Season 2 to see if there's any major changes going on. The opening episode of the series, Bart Gets an F, is a real deep dive into the innocent side of Bart, which up until now we haven't really seen. After failing literally every test he's ever sat in, Bart started to get a little jealous of Lisa being a straight-A kid.
Well, as long as I'm here, I might as well kill two birds with one stone.
What's the big idea? You covered up my paper!
But more importantly, all these failures means that unless he passes a test soon, he's gonna have to retake the 4th grade.
Hey, okay! Why are we dancing around the obvious?
Repeat the 4th grade.
What?
They give him one more chance, and this time he promises to study, and you know what? He does. He spends all night trying to cram in as much knowledge as he can, and for once, he feels ready. But will he pass?
I really tried this time!
There.
This is as good as I can do!
But again, to show that there actually is a good brain rattling around in that noggin of his, Bart finds another way to pass his test, even if it is totally an accident.
Please turn in your exam, Bart.
You think you could grade it now, please?
Well, all right.
That applied knowledge picks Bart's grade up from an F to a D-. So that means, by the skin of his teeth, he does end up passing. And his mom and dad couldn't be prouder. There's a real gentle side to Bart that comes out this season, and we see it again when he apologizes to Lisa for breaking her centerpiece that she worked so hard on.
I'm sorry, Lisa.
Apology accepted.
I don't know about that, Homer, but I do know that Season 2 kinda leaves the prank obsession on hold while it deepens Bart as a character. He wants to be better. I think this season shows him coming a little closer with his family. Animation-wise, as you guys can probably tell, things are a little smoother. There's still some of those weird proportions and rubber mouths going on, but we're well on our way to the Bart that we all know and love. Outside of his family, Bart doesn't have a ton of friends, but in Season 3, we see how Bart realizes that he likes one of his friends way more than he thought he did. Of course, I'm talking about Milhouse. He's kinda like Bart's foil. For the longest time, Milhouse wanted to be like Bart, and sorta looked up to him, whereas Bart saw Milhouse as kinda like a spare part. Someone cool, but you know, he'll just do as I say and go along with things. Well, when Homer defined, that all stops.
My mom won't let me be your friend anymore. That's why you couldn't come to the party.
What's she got against me?
She says you're a bad influence.
How many times have I told you never listen to your mother?
But Bart, she threatened to cut off my allowance.
Whatever she's paying you, I'll double it.
And at first, Bart doesn't really care. He thinks Milhouse is a small fry, but soon it started to hit him that really, Bart misses him.
Bart, you're not laughing.
Oh, I'm just depressed. Milhouse's mom won't let me play with him anymore.
It even gets so bad that Bart ends up opening up to his mom about it, and she goes over to see Milhouse's mom to try and sort things out and cheer Bart up.
Well, Bart and Milhouse have as each other. Popular target for bullies, and in the Christmas pageant.
You're not really selling helping things here, Marge, but she begs Luann to give Bart one more chance, and it looks like whatever magic Marge was using works because...
Do you want to come over and play?
Really? We can be friends again? Milhouse, I'll be right there. Sorry, Maggie, game's over.
So as much as Milhouse and Bart might have been friends before this, I think this rubber stamps them now as best friends. Because like Marge said to Luann, they need each other. I know it kind of feels like, but it's not all emotion for Bart this season. He does get back up to his usual prankster ways again in the episode Radio Bart. Like he uses a label gun to stamp everything in the house as his. But while that's more annoying than anything, Bart steps into super morally gray territory when he pulls a prank pretending that there's a stuck child down the bottom of a well called Timmy O'Toole.
Huh? Hey, what's up?
There's some poor kid fell down a well.
Yes. My name is Timmy O'Toole. I just turned 10 years old.
You guys say morally gray. I mean, totally out of line. What on earth could be going through Bart's head that can make him think that this is okay? Well, luckily, there's this little thing called karma, because while Bart's plan works, he realizes he's probably gone too far, so goes to collect the radio from down the well before his secret spills. But that's where his little prank turns into a reality.
Ah!
So he has no other choice but to come clean to the officers about what he's done, and while everyone wants to save him, they're kinda not moving with the same enthusiasm they did for Timmy.
What are you doing to save my baby boy?
Well, ma'am, we've located a piece of machinery in Shreveport, Louisiana that could pop him out lickety-split.
Well, why don't you get it?
Well, I'm afraid we've got a budget problem, Mrs. Simpson. Your boy picked a bad time to fall down a well.
After seeing Homer and Marge desperately dig for Bart, Willie rallies the troops again, and they dig down through an abandoned mine shaft and rescue Bart.
Dad!
Oh, Bart, I've missed you so much.
Man, I was so scared.
Don't worry, son.
I guess he's learned his lesson, for now. But that prank may be up there with one of the sickest that Bart's ever pulled. Although there is another that's pretty bad, even if it started out as a harmless joke. I'm talking about the time he started writing love letters to Krabappel in Bart the Lover. As we know, Bart's got this whole anti-authority thing going on, and while he doesn't really hate his teacher, he doesn't like her a bunch either. Especially when she gives him detention and confiscates his yo-yo.
Don't worry about your wee fish, lass. They're going to a better place.
Bart, that's 1 month's detention.
While in detention, Bart starts combing through all of Edna's drawers with his grubby little mitts looking for his yo-yo. And sure, he finds that, but he also finds Edna's looking for love advert.
Huh? 1 + 1 = 2? Recently divorced 4th grade teacher wishes to meet man age 18 to 60.
18 to 60? Oh, good heavens, that is one big net. And you still ain't catching anyone, I'm so sorry. It is crazy, though, that this is basically the 90s version of Tinder, but anyway, Bart sees this as a chance to mess with his teacher, so he starts writing a letter pretending to be an interested man.
Dear Edna, I never answered a personal ad before.
He calls his character Woodrow, and Mrs. K falls for it hook, line, and sinker.
I like holding hands and dinner by candlelight. And oh yes, I really hate yo-yos.
Oh, Woodrow.
He keeps mailing her until the inevitable question comes up at the meeting, so Bart figures the best way to get her back is to have Mrs. K go on a date and be stood up. I guess this is also the 90s version of catfishing. While Edna is waiting for her mystery man, Bart forgets all about her and heads to go see a movie. But when it finishes and he checks the restaurant, he sees that she's still there, and he starts to feel kinda guilty.
I can't help but feel partly responsible.
So he heads to his parents to come clean about the whole thing and to get some advice on how to let Edna down gently. So they put together their ideas and come up with this letter.
Time I hear the wind blow, it will whisper the name Edna.
For me, this episode shows Bart as, sure, the classic prankster, and like I said earlier, it sure is a pretty mean prank, but it shows the true heart of Bart, and I think that's why Bart Mania was such a big thing in the 90s. You had a kid that not only was a rebel and funny, but he was full of heart too. Animation-wise, I think we're more or less there now when it comes to the design of Bart. The rubber mouth has disappeared and his face proportions are in line with pretty much how he is for the rest of the show. Well, until it gets all fancy, but we'll talk about that later too. For now, we're going to skip on over to Season 5. Before we get into the weeds with this season, I just wanted to say that the reason we're jumping over Season 4 is that there aren't many changes to Bart's story or character. The episode Lisa's First Word is the standout if there was one, but we already know that deep down, despite their fighting, Bart and Lisa both love each other. But as we get to Season 5, we see the return of Krusty the Clown's former sidekick, Sideshow Bob. I told you he'd be coming back to it. After writing loads of threatening letters to Bart, Bob swindles his way out of jail by saying he's a fully reformed man. But as soon as he's let out, there's only one thing on his mind.
The following neighborhood residents will not be killed by me. Ned Flanders, Maud Flanders.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Homer Simpson, Marge Simpson, Lisa Simpson, that little baby Simpson. That is all.
Woohoo! Did you hear, Bart?
To protect the family, the police send them to live in a place called Terror Lake, pretty on-the-nose name, and at first they think they're safe, but Bart is still on edge.
Bart, you want some brownie before you go to bed?
This is the first time we've seen a real bit of fear in Bart. You know, usually he just dives headfirst into stuff, shrugs most things off, but here, he's really scared, and for good reason. Because Sideshow Bob doesn't give up, and he breaks into the Simpsons' new home.
Hello, Bart.
Mom! Dad!
Your family can't help you now.
Their new home is on a boat, and while it's floating down the river, Bart manipulates Bob into singing show tunes until they float to where the police are so they can help him.
I was wondering if you could sing the entire score of the HMS Pinafore.
Very well, Bart.
Bart uses his brains to keep Bob busy, and it works. Just as he finishes singing, they float by Chief Wiggum and his boys who stop by the boat and arrest Sideshow Bob.
Hold it right there, Sideshow Bob. You're under arrest.
By Lucifer's beard!
Yeah.
Bob's thrown back into jail, and from here on out, it's kind of a repeat of this episode when Bob appears. He escapes jail to hunt Bart, only to be outsmarted and thrown right back in. I think, again, this is a good example of how smart Bart can be. He literally manages to manipulate an evil genius. The next thing I want to touch on this season is a little similar to the episode with Mrs. K where he tries to get back at his teacher. Well, in Sweet Seymour Skinner's badass song, he clearly hasn't learned his lesson, because Seymour's in his line of fire now. Not intentionally, though, because basically, Bart brings his dog to show and tell, and the little guy gets lost in the school vents. So Seymour sends Willie to try and catch him, but at the same time, Superintendent Chambers arrives for a surprise inspection, and Willie falls out of the vents.
Why, looking into this lovable mutt's eyes just melts my heart. Seymour, all is forgiven.
Make way for Willie!
Skinner has been in hot water with Chambers over the last few months, and this is the straw that broke the camel's back, which is a fancy way of saying Chambers fires Skinner.
Seymour?
You're fired! I'm sorry. Did you just call me a liar?
No, I said you were fired.
Oh. That's much worse.
Real smooth, Bart, real smooth. I guess he does feel a bit guilty that he lost Skinner the job, but Bart gets pretty excited about the idea of a Skinnerless school, and it's only made more exciting when he realizes a pushover like Flanders is going to take over.
Bart, I've barely been here a good solid week, and you've been sent to my office 11 times. And now that I have peanut butter cups, you seem to be getting in trouble every hour.
Outside of school, he actually bumps into Skinner a few times and realizes he's not the evil dude he thought he was.
Whoa! Yay!
That's when the real guilt starts to set in. He sees the school's going to the dogs, and Bart realizes he's got to get Skinner's job back, but there's only one problem. Skinner's about to head back to the army.
Wow, I never thought Principal Skinner could become any more of a square, but there's the proof.
It's weird, Lise. I miss him as a friend, but I miss him even more as an enemy.
I think you need Skinner, Bart. Everybody needs a nemesis.
Bart tracks down Skinner and tells him he's got a plan to get him back as the head teacher, and invites Chambers for another inspection so he can see the extent of how bad things have gotten. It's not the chaos that bothers Chambers, it's God, as apparently he's just now realizing that Flanders is ultra-religious, so he pulls the plug on him.
You get your wish. Flanders is history.
And just like that, Skinner is back, and weirdly, Bart couldn't be happier.
I guess we're enemies again.
I guess. Thanks, Bart.
Sure.
I think this episode goes to show that Bart needs Skinner and Skinner needs Bart. They balance each other out or something. If you compare this episode to the second episode of the series, you'd be out of your mind not to see the growth of Bart Simpson. To even think he'd hug anyone, let alone Skinner, would be nuts. But again, the true Bart isn't a bad kid. He's just misguided. Although in season 6, there's a decent-sized change in Bart's personality. It comes in the season opener, Bart of Darkness, where the Simpsons get a huge pool during a heat wave and Bart is dared to do a cannonball off the treehouse in front of the entire neighborhood and slips.
See, epidermis means your hair.
He ends up breaking his leg, and because of it, he can't enjoy the pool or have fun with his friends. Then he starts to get a little weird.
Maybe this will loosen your tongue. No!
Bart?
Don't turn on that light! Sorry.
It's not a permanent change or anything, I just thought it was worth mentioning. As soon as his legs healed, he's more or less back to his usual self. Another episode I wanted to quickly touch on is Lisa on Ice, where Bart and Lisa's sibling rivalry is suddenly cranked up to 11. As a straight-A student, Lisa's got to make sure she passes gym by doing some sport out of school. Bart's a pretty decent hockey player, so she picks that, and it turns out she's a pretty darn good keeper. And due to this, she's recruited by Bart's team's rivals, and they're set to play a big game. But before that, Lisa is acing every game she's playing, and Bart's feeling like he's missing out on his parents' attention.
I have the tiger mouth of a teamster. To think of all the time I wasted on you. Well, not wasted. I love you.
It really starts to get to Bart to the point that he and Lisa have a full-on fight.
Started it. Lisa started.
To settle their differences, they figure whoever wins the big game wins their rivalry. But on the ice, things go a little differently. Bart and Lisa realize they're acting like brats and remember that nothing can change the simple fact that they're a brother and sister who love each other, even if that is super gooey and lame and whatever. Bart had a chance to score and win the game, but he couldn't care less about that now.
Great game, Lise.
Great game, Bart.
Pretty wholesome. We get a full 360 here of Bart going from putting up with his sister to hating her to realizing that they're a family who love each other. That's kind of always the way with them too. I think we've reached more or less the stage of prime Bart. These episodes in the last couple seasons and the next couple is why he's one of the greatest TV characters of all time. And arguably, one of the best episodes that shows his true character is coming up in season 7. You guys know that despite her son not being the most well-behaved kid in the world, Marge is pretty happy with Bart. She knows that deep down he's just being an unruly rebel and he'll either grow out of it or he'll learn some really big lesson along the way that'll snap him out of his ways. Well, in Marge Be Not Proud, she's in for a shock when Bart does the unthinkable and steals an expensive game from the store. To be fair, if I was 10 and there was a game called Bone Storm, I'd probably want it really bad too. But, you know, I wouldn't steal it. Maybe. Bart ends up getting caught by the store security who takes the game back.
Please step back in the store, sir.
That boy's parents must have made some terrible mistakes.
Shut up, Mom!
He bans Bart from the store and calls his parents to tell them what he's done. But Bart manages to bike home and swap the tape before Homer and Marge can read the answering machine, because back in the day, we had to use cassette tapes, and he manages to get away with it.
We didn't have a message when we left. Oh, very odd.
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Here I am at Camp Granada.
But like most of Bart's pranks, this comes back to bite him in the butt. Because Christmas is coming up, Marge wants the family to dress nicely and get a family photo. At the store, Bart is now banned from.
What are you doing to my son?
I'm afraid your son broke the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not steal.
That's crazy.
He's got no choice but to come clean about it when the security guard shows his parents the security footage of him stealing. And let's just say, Marge is heartbroken. Bart realizes he's messed up bad, but even he doesn't think it's as bad as it is. I mean, you guys know how loving Marge is, so when she does this, you know it's serious.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, sweetheart.
Oh, great. The Tuck-In Express is right on time.
Good night.
So to put things right, Bart figures that he has to do something really special for his mom, and considering he messed up a family photo that's so important to him, he knows exactly what to do.
I love you so much, my little bitty Barty.
Mom!
With that picture, Marge fixes the family photo, and Bart fixes his mom's broken heart. For the next big chunk of seasons, this groundwork of Bart is what we see. A relatable kid doing relatable kid stuff. Sure, he gets in trouble, but he manages to get himself out of it when it matters. The right way. All of his relationships are pretty steady, the animation is as solid as it's ever been, but that all changes around season 14. You'd have to be living under a rock at this point to not know that at some point in its history, The Simpsons started to nosedive. Many people say that happened around season 10 with the whole Skinner not being Skinner thing, but others think it started to go really bad in season 14 and beyond. The first big thing to mention about this season is that the animation style completely changes. The production team throws away the old hand-drawn cell animation for a new digital paint job.
Well, if Bart can be El Barto...
Oh, if only I had your courage, senor.
Oh, thanks.
It's not that much of a change, it just means that the animation is slightly sharper and things look less imperfect. It gets a lot more noticeable as time goes on. Apart from the animation change though, these next stretch of seasons show a change of Bart's stories. Usually, Bart deals with stuff that any kid would, like passing tests, school stuff like bullies, problems with your parents or friends, that sort of universal stuff. Well, from here on out, his stories get a lot more bizarre and over the top, like in the episode Barting Over, when he finds out that when he was a kid, Homer had forced him to become a child star and stole all of the money he ever made.
He's the baby whose mouth smells like death. Run for your life, it's baby stink breath.
Oh my God, that's me!
He loses it with Homer, and although their relationship has never been super great, this is where things start to really break down. Which I think eventually leads to the events of the Simpsons movie, and yeah, I'll be getting to that in a short while. Bart then runs away and starts living in a rundown loft away from his family.
Boy, it's really empty in here.
They end up patching things up thanks to Tony Hawk, who takes Bart under his wing until Homer can step up and apologize.
I'm truly sorry. I put you in humiliating commercials for money which I spent on myself.
So you can see what I mean. It's kind of like they've told every story a regular 10-year-old could ever possibly have, and now they're just trying to push the boat out with shock value. Like, he's starting to lose his relatability here. Things do take a little bit of a better turn in the Simpsons movie, though, kinda. He does start to feel a little more like the season 3 to 7 Bart again, even if his animation is now super shiny in HD.
Steady. Steady.
But the strained relationship with his dad is still carried over from season 14. Homer dares Bart to skateboard nude to the Krusty Burger and back, but he ends up getting arrested for public nudity. Big shocker there. The cops call Homer to pick him up, and the guy doesn't even bring Bart any pants.
Please bring my clothes.
Shirt, socks, everything you need.
You didn't bring my pants.
Who am I, Tommy Bahama?
Oh.
He's pretty upset that his dad would let him be humiliated like this, especially as Bart has spent all day handcuffed to the post. Luckily, though, Flanders is on hand to save the day.
You need pants. I carry an extra pair. I mean, you know how boys are, always praying through the knees.
Why are you helping me? I'm not your kid.
We're neighbors. I'm sure your father would do the same for my boys.
Thank you.
I don't know why, but something tells me he wouldn't do the same for your boys, Ned. Anyway, after this, Flanders kind of becomes Bart's second dad. He opens up to him, and Ned figures he can cheer Bart up by going fishing. And we get to see the difference between Flanders and Homer as parents.
Oh no, my good pole!
Huh? You're not strangling me.
What the?
Flanders thinks the only time you should be putting your hands on your kid is when you're giving them a good old pat on the back.
Hey, what the hell are you... Oh. One more time.
From here on out, Bart puts Flanders ahead of Homer in the parent rankings and wishes his dad was as good to him as Flanders is. Homer's not exactly the best role model in the world either, and that's multiplied by like a bajillion when he causes the town to be cut off from the rest of the world after polluting Lake Springfield. The family becomes fugitives and flee from not only the government, but their friends too. And while hiding, Bart starts hitting the bottle hard.
You come back here, little man!
I'm Miss Flanders. There, I said it.
A drunk mind speaks sober thoughts. To get his family out of Dodge, Homer hatches a plan to move to Alaska, and while it works, the rest of the guys find out the government plans to blow up Springfield, so leave Homer in his dream life to try and save the hometown. Or, at least be there when a bomb goes off. Bart splits off from his mom and goes to find Flanders. I guess because that's where he feels safest.
I had a father who cared for me.
Come here, son. There's always room for one more in the Flanders clan.
Homer must be a seriously bad dad if Bart's willing to become a Bible basher. Talking of Homer, he's been having an epiphany about his life and has followed his family back to Springfield to save them and the town from the bomb. But to do it, he needs Bart's help.
One more chance.
It seems to me, son, that your father's saying that he wants to spend his last minute with you.
No.
He turns his dad down. Well, until he offers to let Bart hold the bomb.
The man knows me.
I wish Homer was my father.
Together, they speed up the dome, chuck the bomb out of the hole in the top, and save the town.
We did it, boy!
Dad?
Don't worry, no one gets hurt. Well, apart from this little scratch. Homer's a hero, and more importantly, he's managed to patch things up with his son.
Now that was a great father-son activity.
The Simpsons movie is a rare good outing for the family in the modern era. Its placing season-wise is right around the 18th mark, and the tension between Homer and Bart that was bubbling in season 14 is fully ironed out. Character-wise, though, things don't really look all that good for Bart from here on out, especially as we're moving into the seasons where the show is universally disliked. In season 20, there was a major overhaul in the art style again as the show went to a fully HD digital setup, meaning that episodes would look closer to the over-polished style we saw in the movie.
I want him to know that if your life doesn't turn out the way you want, there's someone else to blame.
Oh, I already knew that, Dad. I'm gonna blame you.
Around this time, we also start to see Bart's voice start changing because while Bart is always going to be 10, his voice actor Nancy Cartwright still ages. To be fair to her, though, it's not until we reach like season 30 does it become super noticeable.
So pumped to hate not watch Itchy and Scratchy. I've not popped the popcorn. The lights are not turned down. Perfect.
It's not a criticism or anything. It's just if you compare that with Bart's voice way back in season 1, it is very different.
Come on, Dad. This can be the miracle that saves the Simpsons Christmas. If TV has taught me anything, it's that miracles always happen to poor kids at Christmas.
He's gone from kid to old lady? Sorry, Nancy. One of the big things that we've touched on throughout Bart's history is how relatable he is to all ages. Well, that gets thrown out the window in the later seasons. He kind of just becomes not only a kid, but a kid through the eyes of an adult. What I mean by that is, instead of being complex, he's just a 2D character now. Like he's young, so that must mean he plays video games obnoxiously.
Time for the lava quad ball. We're gonna win. Dad's crazy coaching.
Sure, we've seen him play and love games before, but wanting to play Bone Storm is a whole lot different to competing in an esport event. Maybe 1% of kids get to do that compared to 99% of kids who like playing a game in their spare time. The relatability just vanishes and makes Bart seem like a parody of kids today rather than the complex character we saw in the earlier seasons. Like to my point about realism and relatability, do you really think the Bart of the first couple seasons could become a rapper?
And trace my remorse to its supersized source. A hungry hypocrite named Homer, of course. My old man's pathetic. Damn, is his head thick. The gas from his ass is carcinogenic.
Of course not. I think the writers of The Simpsons may have heard what some fans like me were saying, though, and tried to go a bit more back to basics with Bart. Trouble is, because the show has been on the air for nearly 40 years, the problems facing kids today are a lot different from back in the early 90s. Like, for example, no kid had to worry about the dangers of vaping. But to be fair, the dangers of peer pressure have always been there.
It's an e-cigarette. Care to vape? Don't you want to be one of the cool Kinder?
Thanks to Milhouse's cousin, Bart gets addicted to those electronic cigs.
Bart, Simpson.
It's still legal in this state. The bill's stuck in committee.
God, you just can't protect your kids enough.
Nice going, Bart. Now you got Maggie on the vape train. How stupid can you be? Actually, that brings me to another thing I wanted to talk about. You know how I liked the way Bart was secretly smart? Well, that's another thing that's missing. Like the time he was completely brainless by driving an abandoned train that had tracks which shook Springfield to its core. Or like the time he thinks it's a good idea to catapult diapers at Principal Skinner while he's driving. I mean, he almost kills the guy.
My cool. It's gone.
I think the writers even realized they started dumbing down Bart to the point that they feel they got to parody it with the episode Bart's Brain, where he literally buys a brain.
Margaret. Is that?
You better believe it. A human brain.
My life up to now has been merely a prelude. Today, a prank king becomes a prank god. I want to buy your brain.
Aside from the dumbing down of the character and all that, there are some bits of old Bart in there. I mean, we saw a sec ago that he still has it in for Skinner, but he still has a soft spot for Mrs. K too. Like when she gets fired in season 21, he goes out of his way to check up on her.
Door's broken.
Mrs. K, is everything all right?
Sure. Never better.
He was the one who got her fired after he spiked her with alcohol, but he's also the one who gets her rehired, so I'm sure there's no hard feelings.
Plus, I gotta say, I'm glad to be back.
And there's no hard feelings?
Nope. Now everyone enjoy one of my yummy muffins.
But it's stale.
Eat the muffin.
See, they're back to being frenemies again. Well, I know what you guys are thinking. What about Bart's relationship with his family? Well, to be honest, that's something that hasn't really changed. He's still a brat, a mommy's boy, and a bully of a big brother. But there is one thing that's missing. Remember throughout the early seasons, whenever Bart would do something bad to Homer, this would happen?
I must die!
I love you, Dad!
Dirty trick.
Well, in season 31, they decided they were going to pull the plug on Bart being strangled due to new age parenting and being politically correct. Obviously, a lot of fans weren't happy, so they tease it from time to time. They managed to get around it by not making that strangulation canon because it's essentially an AI version of Homer and Bart. So, as we come to the present day, Bart Simpson has evolved from a sharp-tongued kid who hated authority into a softer, more mild-mannered kid who just does outlandish, stupid stuff for seemingly no reason. He's not the only one to suffer this, of course. Nearly every character that's appeared on The Simpsons is now a shell of their former selves today. But I think in Bart's case, it's just a little more sad, simply because of how fresh he was at the start of the show. That's all I got for y'all today on the Bart front. If you want to check out some more Super Simpsons stuff, then head on over to my channel where you'll find plenty of content. Or you can click on the video on screen right about now. Go on. I prepared it specifically for you. Okay, it's maybe a little tad stretch of the truth, but whatever. I'm sure you'll enjoy it anyway. As always, guys, thank you for watching.